going to actually warm us up with a couple of slides here, which come from the Media Odyssey podcast. So who here watches or listens to the Media Odyssey podcast? Okay, so a lot of you don't know about the Media Odyssey podcast. You should watch it. Exciting things happen. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about this very topic, bundling, and what we discovered with some of the research from Bango, where I work, that the average American subscriber has 5.2 subscriptions, and they're spending around $69 a month. But the really interesting thing that we're talking about today is around 37% of them, over a third, are coming through bundling or indirect channels. And that's data that's validated elsewhere. Omdia would say 30% of all SVOD, subscription video on demand, Netflix, Disney, etc., around the world is now bought through bundling. So bundling's huge news. And luckily, we've assembled an amazing team here today to talk about this. Now I need to go back to. And I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves. But I'm also, before I do that, going to tell the audience that we do have a prize today for the best panelist. And it is for the team that wins the World Cup, and the top scorer for the World Cup, and the Ballon d'Or winner for the best player. So 3 prizes in one. So we'll come back to that later. Right, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Stefanie Ball, and I'm with DIRECTV, and I lead all of our growth initiatives for our residential portfolio.
Yes.
My name is Matthew Durgin. I'm responsible for LG's WebOS business for North America. That's US and Canada. We bundle those 2 countries together for one team.
Love it.
Hi, everybody. Scott Barton. I'm at Charter Spectrum. I head up our seamless entertainment products and our Spectrum App Store products.
Hey, Ethan Gray, Paramount Streaming. I oversee the subscription journey as well as customer onboarding. So any way that you can get into the product, whether it's direct or through one of our partners.
Very cool. So as you can see, a really diverse panel here representing different areas, different sides, different aspects of the bundle economy, as we like to call it. And we're going to start off today by looking at not necessarily defining what a bundle is, but looking at what's successful, what's working, and we've got some really interesting different approaches here in market. So you're going to learn quite a lot from this. So where bundling is supposed to solve customer fatigue and industry churn, what is the actual win factor? And we're going to start here with Scott, please. Take it away.
Yeah, happy to. Did we have a slide? There it is. Okay, fantastic. Thanks for having me. Hi, everybody. We call it seamless entertainment, but really what we're doing is including 11 of the most popular SVOD apps along with our pay TV service, right? So that is, I think we've got them listed here. I will spare you all from me listing them out individually. That is $127 worth of value available month in and month out to our customers. And look, I think at this show, and frankly at all of these shows, content rights, content availability is fragmented. We want to simplify that for our customers. We want to deliver value and utility back to them. And by us including all this amazing content in one place, we're delivering on that promise for them. And that's showing up for us already in the numbers. So throwing a few stats out here. Of the eligible base, over 50% have activated at least one app. Once they figure it out and they realize this value is there, they're activating 4 on average. And then the real payoff here is that is driving a reduction in churn of a third, which is significant. So that's obviously a win for us, but that's also a win for our streaming partners like Ethan, right? Where all ships rise, we're delivering a better value for our customers, and we're delivering a better value for our streaming partners. And then really the cherry on the top there is, keep in mind, nearly all of our video customers are also broadband customers for us. So it ties back to that core connectivity relationship for us.
Cool, thanks, Scott. And when you first went into this, was this really all about retention from day one for you?
Look, what's the phrase, right? It's always easier to hold a customer than it is to acquire one, right? I see Stephanie shaking her head. 100% that's true. So yes, of course, right? But I think you have to start with the customer, right? It's about delivering that value proposition, make it easier for them to get to the content that matters most to them, because the landscape is fragmented. We want to simplify that and drive that home for them. That's what it's about.
Cool, thank you. Well, I'm going to speed on quickly to Stefanie because we've got a kind of very different approach to bundling here, and I'll take that off the screen so I don't have you speak over Charter.
Well, thank you. Yeah. So at DirecTV, we've sort of taken a little bit of a different approach, and we're really focused on flexibility because, like you said, customers, the ecosystem is so fragmented, it's hard to get the content that you want, and customers really don't care where they're getting their content from. They're specifically looking for that show or that program. And so we were first to market and launched something called genre packs, and we're really proud of those, but they're very specific. They are across what we believe are the top genres that customers care about, and they're skinny down, slim bundles. And so they really combine the best of live television, the top streaming apps, and then really excellent search and discovery all in one ecosystem. And so the genre packs really go across kind of the key genres, if you will, of entertainment, of course, sports, kids, and then we even have some Spanish language, an option for that. So for us, it's really about flexibility and connecting with new customers who we have not previously had a relationship with in the past. And we actually are seeing that it's really working. So 60% of our customers that are signing up for genre packs today are from segments of customers. Think your cord nevers or your SVOD only customers who we've never been able to work with in the past, right? They didn't want our other signature offerings. And so this has been a real win for us.
Great, and both of you have talked a little bit about the number of subscriptions people are taking. We might call that activation rate as well. You know, Scott, in your case, you're offering 11 different subscriptions there. Could you maybe talk a little bit about activation and the sort of things you're doing to drive that, and perhaps around discovery as well?
Yeah, sure. Look, I would say we're collectively as an industry, we're in the first stages here. We're in the first inning, and there's more to be done. The activation journey for customers can be a bit bumpy across each partner. We want to simplify that activation flow. And I think also important to call out, remember, there's a history, at least in our industry, there's a history of offering somebody, say, 3 months or 6 months of a service, then it rolls to pay. And so there's this ingrained point of view with our customers thinking, oh, wait a minute, you're going to end up charging for me, which is not the case, right? These are available in perpetuity as part of that core service, right? And so as customers discover this larger value that's available to them, activations continue to accelerate. So there's really like a customer education combined with this idea of improved customer journey to get them to the content that matters to them.
Yeah, and I think for us, very similar. We do see, our genre packs, we have genre-specific streaming apps inside of there, right? So in My Sports, you get ESPN+. In My Entertainment, you're getting HBO, you're getting Disney. My Kids has Disney. So we're really trying to match the content to the consumer demand. And so we really do see when customers, we call it authenticating into their embedded SVOD or streaming app, we see like 2 times better survival. And like the way that you do that is through the content, right? And that's part of our onboarding journey, right? Because you selecting a specific genre pack is telling us something, right? And that's how we market to you. And that's continuing to evolve. Like we just added AMC Plus to our My Entertainment pack. We just did that actually this past week. We added Shudder to our My Cinema mini pack bolt-on. And so really we're just letting our customers tell us what else they want, and that's kind of how our strategy is evolving.
That's really cool. 2 little announcements there, folks. So
yes, and Shudder's my favorite. I don't know if there's any horror fans out there, but I love it. Plug for Shudder.
And quite often at these conferences, particularly this one, there's a lot of conversation around FAST channels. Could you maybe talk a little about the relationship between FAST and subscriptions and bundling?
Well, thank you, Giles. That was a nice setup. I really appreciate that. Yes, so we have a fast platform. It's called MyFree, and it's been such a wonderful addition to the portfolio because it's an entry point for us, but it's also a place where our customers can step down to, right? If football season is over and they don't want to pay for a genre pack or one of our signature packages, that's okay. You can fall back to fast, and you're still in our ecosystem, and it's really seamless and easy to get back up to a pack that might have more content inside of it. And we've got some exclusive content. So we've got a Tribeca Film Festival channel that's actually on right now, and that's been actually a really big one for us. And we're always looking to add more content there. So I think Kent Reese was on a FAST platform earlier today, or a panel earlier today.
Cool. And very quickly, last one, you mentioned football there. I think you were talking about the throwing one.
I was talking about the U.S. football.
Yeah, okay. Has the World Cup football, the round one, had any effect on the business?
Oh, yeah, it has. It's been phenomenal. I'll just give it up to our fabulous product and curation teams. I mean, that's a big part of our ecosystem, right? Helping you find the content you want very quickly and getting you right there. And so we have these fantastic sports hubs that we've created, and it puts World Cup front and center. We're also seeing probably our best ever inflow numbers on our Mi Español package. So that Spanish language World Cup content is really, really popular.
Very cool. Okay, I'm going to move on. Matt.
Yes, sir.
You've been in the game a while now. You've seen the evolution of all these different topics. Where does LG sit, and what's the evolution you've seen, particularly around creating value for the customer?
Yeah, well, from the perspective of an electronics manufacturer, we've done bundling with our retailers for years. Oftentimes you have bundling between hardware products. You know, there's a great fit between a soundbar and a TV to go out at the same time. We've also used our service relationships to put bundles together where you buy the TV and you get the service. And that, I would say, is something that is fun to do, although we don't see a huge correlation between making that decision to buy that television because of a service. I think it just gives us something to really talk about and to really explain the value of the relationship that we put together. But that's a heavy lift because you're dealing with a service and what they need to set that offer up, whether it's for existing customers or new customers, and maybe sometimes it's only for new customers, which creates a bit of a retail challenge. So what we shifted to was, instead of trying to get that bundle to drive TV conversion, like from the sale at retail, now we use it to highlight the relationships that we've created in the device. So the objective shifts from the bundle trying to drive the conversion of the TV sale to drive the engagement of that service that we've invested in. So a good example is, we launched the Microsoft Xbox Cloud Gaming. So being able to bundle a controller for somebody who is a target to go and try that service, that's the kind of bundle that we think is more effective for us to put our time into, because what that does is it highlights the relationship that we've created, and it's differentiated against other platforms, and it gives the consumer an extra incentive to go invest time and try out the service that we put together. So that engagement goal has really become probably more of a focus for us in terms of how we do the bundling.
Interesting. And sometimes we'll talk about bundles as offers, and you've done a bit on Streaming Weeks, is that right? Yeah,
we have our Streaming Weeks proposal or our offer. And what that is, it's a handful of weeks that we find. We've done this in the past in Q4. We've tried other time frames where you do it in Q3. You take a handful of weeks, you'll take a dozen partners, and you'll just create a number of offers. And then what that happens is it gives consumers another chance to come in and to take one or two services. They've already made the purchase to buy the television. They're already probably engaging because you get a lot of the activation or a lot of the exposure of the offer in the device itself. And so we've called it Streaming Weeks, and then you have these users that have a relationship with you over 5, 6, 7 years, and so every year they get to see the Streaming Weeks, and it just that repetitiveness comes into their head of, oh, this is when I get an opportunity to try somebody out for multiple months for a lower price or for no price.
Very cool. Okay, Ethan. you ready for action?
Absolutely.
Now, you've got a really interesting perspective, and it's a different perspective. I don't want to say it's sort of the other side of the table, but you are the one creating the content, studio and a streaming service, and a bunch of other stuff. So why don't you give us your perspective?
Yeah, so if you want to toss up my slide, I can speak to it. So yeah, you get kind of a twofer with me. So we're streaming, I come from the streaming side, but I'm also the product person, so that's why I guess I'm here. But I wanted to talk a little bit about what Paramount does for bundling. So obviously, we've been engaged in bundling with these fine folks here, but we also have some other bundles that you may not consider to be bundles. So we have an experiment that we've done with Delta, where if you fly anywhere in the United States on any of the Delta's 1,200 domestic aircraft, you can actually watch Paramount Plus and Pluto while you're on the aircraft, and then take it with you for 24 hours. That's a bundle. You're paying for a ticket, and you can then get Paramount Plus. We hope that you subscribe after that, right? But that's definitely a bundle. Walmart Plus, you may have seen this as well. That's definitely a bundle as well, right? You can get either Paramount Plus Essential as part of your Walmart Plus subscription, or you can pay a little bit more and get premium. That's also a bundle as well. I don't know how many of you consider those to be bundles, but they're definitely bundles. We've also bundled ourselves too. So back when Showtime was its own service, we actually bundled Showtime, right? You could buy Showtime as part of a bundle with Paramount Plus. We've since rolled that into Paramount Plus as part of the premium offering, but we've definitely done that as well. So we are no stranger to bundling, but we look at bundling maybe more expansive than maybe sort of the traditional sense. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about that as well, how we're sort of like looking at the ecosystem, sort of, the purview, and I think the next slide might be good to sort of look at too. So I don't know how many of you maybe saw this. So Apple had a little conference a couple weeks ago called WWDC, and you probably saw some stuff about Siri and the new operating system, but there was a little tiny nugget that they didn't talk about, but deep in their developer documentation was this. They're going to allow any subscription services to be bundled with any other subscription services. And it doesn't matter which two, or which three, or which four, or which five. This is interesting. This allows for any subscription service to buddy up with any other subscription service and be able to sell those two things as a bundle. You can probably picture how SVOD services might find this to be attractive, right? Very sticky surface, one touch, socioeconomically, the demographics, right? Credit cards already there, an audience that those SVODs might want to go after. This is definitely attractive, a whole new place, right, for bundles that have never been before, right? And this is a whole new competitive landscape that just appeared. And we find it very interesting that Apple's not really talking about it.
I've certainly not found. I saw this announced, and I had a good look around for anyone talking about it, any commentary. It seems to be a little bit under the hood. So it'd be interesting to see what brands generally think of this as an opportunity. Is it cannibalistic? Is it something that's going to help?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And again, this is not to say that I'm particularly interested in this for us, but I just find it very interesting, just sort of as a concept. And we definitely look forward to seeing who takes advantage of this. But I want to get to the next slide. I want to get back around to sort of the bundle. So one of the key things that we take a look at in particular, and I think that these other services take a look at too, is when there's a bundle, there's often a discount, right? So we may be bundled with other services, right? And there's potentially, again, a cost savings of that. 11 different services that are bundled together, and there's probably some cost savings of that. So one of the things that we and our contemporaries here look at is how do we recoup that cost, right? So you can see your Netflixes, your Amazons, right? Disney, a very vertically integrated company, is how are they recouping those costs, right? So putting other services, right, into their products to get those customers, right, to upsell those customers. So the bundle itself is not necessarily a static object. I think that's really kind of what I'm trying to say here, right? Is that the bundle itself is not just about pushing the content or pushing that initial transaction. The whole point for us is really, that's great that you're getting that initial content and that initial product, but we really want to draw you into our ecosystem, right? The more that I can do to be able to get you into the product and get you deeper in there and get you transacting and get you to stay there, and hopefully, sorry guys, hopefully only in my product, the better that it is for me. So I think you're gonna see more and more of this in a much more aggressive landscape, right, of SVODs in particular, but again, these kind of bundled services, the ones that are being bundled, really trying to keep those customers from leaving.
It's really fascinating insights there. Thank you, Ethan. I just wanted to come back to the rest of the guys for a minute and just go down the line and ask. We've been talking a lot about subscription video on demand. We're talking about media and entertainment, but there's opportunity presumably for other types of products, other verticals to be bundled. So is this something you're thinking about?
Well, Giles, DIRECTV just had its 32nd birthday. I can't even believe it. I wasn't aware we were so old, but we consistently
32 isn't that old.
It's not, and I so wish I was still 32. So for us, like, we are committed to providing the best entertainment experience to consumers, whether that's customers we have relationships with today or new customers we don't have relationships with. And so absolutely we are focused on bringing the next best option to those customers we don't have relationships with today. And what will sort of feed our strategy, what is feeding our strategy, and yes, we're thinking about a lot of different bundles, live TV bundles, streaming bundles, the search and discovery experience. What will feed that is really consumer demand. What do they want? Is it even skinnier at a better price point? You know, we're always trying to bring the best thing to market. So
great.
I'm not allowed to say more.
Thank you. And Matt, you're in the center of the house. Where do you think on this?
Well, I think just to call awareness to what a television manufacturer does to create the smart television, proposition for consumers. You think about FAST, and everyone talks about it as an advertising-supported content, and that's true. But also thinking about that, all of us, especially LG, we have gone out and invested millions of dollars in content now. Never had to do that before. So now we're out there licensing content because we know that TV has to come with content, needs to get connected to Wi-Fi, and needs to be consuming content right away without a credit card coming out. So I think that's an interesting value that not only are we trying to sell televisions, but we're actually licensing content just to make that television valuable to the consumer. The only other thing I have to add is I think England is going to win the World Cup, so congratulations.
Oh, that's a smooth move.
Trying.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, you're pandering.
Yeah, I like that. He's warmed up for the shirt.
All right, that was a bit of a blindside to the rest of you guys.
I like it. Okay, so
look, of course, right? And I think it's critical to come at it from a consumer point of view. Look, what we want to do is build unique and differentiated products that put us in a position to market and acquire customers, and most importantly, retain them, right? And if we do that based on content they want, whether that's video content or some other sort of streaming service, we're gonna look closely at that and try to add that to the overall relationship. And I want to, if I could, just build on a little bit of what Ethan said, because I think it's really, really interesting, and I think you're 100% right. It's not about a single transaction. It's about an ongoing relationship with a customer. It's about ongoing engagement. Right now, we're tracking activation because that's step one, but really it's about ongoing engagement in that content, whether that's your service or another service. And I think to focus in on what we're doing, it's important to call out the value of that content over time. So in February, if you're a fan of the Olympics, you can watch on NBC, or you can deep dive into that content on Peacock. You don't have to subscribe to Peacock as one of our customers. You can just go watch it. You're a fan of Dutton Ranch. You can go watch Dutton Ranch. You want to watch it without ads. We make it very easy for you to spend just the $5 difference between Essentials and premium, and upgrade and watch ad-free. World Cup, just to pander some more. Available on Fox, of course. Watch it in 4K on Fox 1. Pretty amazing. Watch it in Spanish on Peacock, right? So all of that is there. So we'll see activations continue to grow. We'll see engagement continue to grow. So I think it is about ongoing engagement and not just that initial transaction.
Yeah. Okay, I can see the clock's ticking over. Ethan, is there anything you wanted to add, or we can wrap it up with just your opinion on what the gold standard future of bundling looks like?
No pressure. No pressure. Well, so what I would say is that bundling's great for the customer, obviously. We know this, right? You know, it's an abundance of choice, and hopefully the customer is getting what they want. It's really about the content that they want. But I also really do think it's about meeting what the customer wants to do at that particular time, right? And it's not always about content, really. Sometimes it's about gaming. Sometimes it's about reading. Sometimes it's about social. Sometimes it's about yoga. I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? And I think that's really the kind of the pivot point here. It's that the demographic has changed, the customer has really changed, and meeting what the customer needs at that particular time, and then again, transacting on it at that particular time, that, from our perspective, is kind of what the new bundle is.
Great. Give them what they want, the way they want it.
And charge them for it.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, folks, we are now going to close it up. So I want you to whoop and cheer wildly for each person, and through that we'll work out who wins the football shirt. So Stefanie.
Woo! Go US men's national team! Woo!
Matt Durgin, please. Woo!
Get it!
Scott. And Ethan. We have a winner, Stefanie. Thank you very much.